Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Thursday, December 4th. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Products that contain the plant extract known as Kratom have been gaining popularity. Now, Fresno County and the city of Fresno are considering new rules to limit them.
It looks like they want to pass regulations that would control the sale and distribution of the plant.
Coming up, we'll learn about why local officials are concerned about Kratom. But first, these headlines. A new study from UCLA released this week reveals a mixed future for California's economy. Researchers at the university's Anderson Forecast analyzed recent economic trends for their quarterly outlook. Their findings: it's going to get worse before it gets better. Researchers expect California's sluggish economy to continue into the new year, which will have a negative impact on unemployment. On the bright side, though, they do expect the economy to pick up in the later part of next year. Nearly 900 acres of land have been returned to the Southern Sierra Miwuk Nation. KVPR's Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado reports on what this means for the California Indian tribe.
The land that has been returned borders Yosemite National Park and the Sierra National Forest, with the Central Valley located to the west of it. The Southern Sierra Miwuk tribe was first expelled from these lands in the late 19th century. The land back deal was made between the Pacific Forest Trust and the California Natural Resources Agency's Tribal Nature-Based Solutions Program. The tribe will now oversee protection of land and water in the region. This transfer marks the latest ancestral land return in California in recent months. The Tule River Indian tribe also got thousands of acres back from the state. For KVPR News, I'm Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado.
A new Superior County courthouse is being proposed in Fresno. The proposed building would be built next to the current main location in downtown and would consolidate courthouse offices that are currently spread out among 3 locations. The current courthouse is nearly 60 years old, and the projected cost to build a new one is $750 million. There will be a meeting at the courthouse next Thursday evening for the public to weigh in. If approved, construction would likely begin in 2028. New research says millions of pounds of pesticides containing so-called forever chemicals, known as PFAS, are sprayed in the San Joaquin Valley every year. PFAS are contained in some pesticides used for crops, and they're chemicals that do not break down easily after they're released. This has alarmed environmental advocates for years. Jared Hayes is a policy analyst with the Environmental Working Group, and he says those concerned about the safety of crops that contain PFAS Jared Hayes is a policy analyst with the Environmental Working Group. He says those concerned about the safety of crops that contain PFAS should still consider the benefits of fruits and vegetables.
Some of the practical steps that you can take are making sure that you wash your produce thoroughly, make sure that you opt for an organic option where possible.
Little's known about the effect of PFAS on human health, but environmental groups are pushing for stronger regulations. The Cahuilla Subbasin in Kings and Tulare counties is no longer under the threat of a state takeover. Our news partner SJV Water reports that the basin was taken off the state's probationary list this week. The state said water leaders successfully addressed issues related to subsidence, domestic wells, and declining groundwater. Had the state taken over, water users could have faced fees and more stringent reporting requirements.
As 2025 comes to a close, KVPR hopes you'll consider the impact public radio has had for you in the past year, and that you'll consider starting a new monthly gift of support now. KVPR is 100% community funded for the first time in its history. That means the news coverage you depend on relies on all of us. Join now at kvpr.org or on the KVPR app.
And now to our main story. Many products on the market claim to help you feel better or relieve pain. Perhaps you've heard of Kratom, sometimes pronounced Kratom, depending on who you ask. This substance can be found at smoke shops, gas stations, and even health stores, often as a liquid or a tablet. Kratom's psychoactive effects depends on the dose. A little can boost your mood, while a lot can sedate you. And most of these products are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, which has raised alarm among many in the medical community. And local leaders in Fresno, concerned about widespread abuse of this substance, are cracking down on the sale of Kratom. One Fresno City Council member went as far as to call it gas station heroin. To break down this potential ban, today I'm speaking with Pablo Orihuela, a reporter with our news partner Fresnoland. Pablo starts our conversation by giving us a bit of background on this substance.
So Kratom is a tree native to Southeast Asia, and the sort of most desired part, I guess, of that tree is the leaves that the plant grows can be used as and turned into an extract, which is found in certain health supplements and consumables. And I think that has been the part that most people have wanted out of the plant.
What are the side effects of that? Like, what does it do to people?
Yeah, so that really depends on who you ask. I think supporters of it will tell you that the extract can be turned into teas or pills or some other kind of health supplement that could either be used as a pain reliever, a sort of healthier alternative to sugar-laden or like caffeine-heavy energy drinks. Some have even said it's been able to get them to kick, alcohol and drug addictions. But, critics would tell you that there simply aren't enough studies to really support the validity of any of those statements. So that's where the big friction has been between, federal, state, and local health officials and people who take Kratom.
Yeah, public health officials and lawmakers even are raising alarm bells about Kratom. So tell us what the critics are saying.
Yeah, so critics are saying that too few studies on the plant have been made to really support any of those claims. Other sort of leading health industry leaders like the Mayo Clinic have even said that use of Kratom has uncovered some pretty dangerous side effects, and they've gone on to label the drug as both unsafe and ineffective for mainstream use.
So can you give us some specific examples of how Kratom can cause harm?
Yeah, so going off the Mayo Clinic as well, they've said that it can bring up dizziness, drowsiness, bouts of depression, people having trouble catching their breath, even tremors and seizures. So it's a wide range of sort of illnesses that can come from using a drug. And, it's very hard to track in the same way it's very hard to kind of dissuade someone from using caffeine, and in the same way some people are a bit more sensitive than others. So that's why you'll find that the state of California and even federally there's no restriction on Kratom use, but they definitely are aware and kind of signaling to people that you definitely want to talk to your healthcare provider before taking it.
Okay, let's talk about potentially some restrictions here in Fresno County and the city of Fresno. So what are leaders saying, and where do we stand now? Because your article, I think the headline called it gas station heroin.
Yeah, that was the quote from, Fresno City Councilor Nelson Esparza. And, here locally, they want to be very proactive. That has been their stance on it. They're very open about that. I believe it was Councilmember Esparza himself who said that if state and federal governments can't move quickly enough, then the onus falls on them to be very proactive and to want to protect their constituency. Here, it looks like they want to pass regulations that would control the sale and distribution of the plant. It looks like they're actually giving some leeway on actual possession of it, acknowledging and maybe even sort of trying to concede to people who use the plant that there may be some benefits, and if as long as you use it responsibly, they'll be okay with it. But they definitely do want to get ahead of, especially getting it between the hands of young children or high schoolers.
So you could have it in your house, but you can't buy it in the city or county of Fresno.
Correct.
Now, in terms of the rules, has the city council approved this ban on sales? Has the county approved the ban on sales? Like, where do each stand?
So both have only gone through their first hearing. The next county and city meetings will have the final and sort of the more significant vote on it. Both votes have gone on unanimously. I believe only the city has had some pushback from Councilmember Nick Richardson, who gave a sort of absentee vote, if I remember correctly. But it looks like they want to at least ban both the distribution and the sale of it. But as long as you use it and, kind of keep it to yourself, then everything seems to be kosher on that end.
Now, there was considerable public comment on these proposals at city and county meetings, right? So what did people have to say?
Yeah, so, there have been people from the American Kratom Association and even people who come and have sort of their own health clinics or their own gyms or just kind of average everyday people that have come on to both, particularly the board of supervisors, to say, hey, we'd level with you. There are significant risks to this, but in our own research, we have found that there's a difference between the more natural byproduct and a synthetic byproduct. The plant contains both, particularly 7-OH, which is this byproduct that has been the source of probably the biggest concern, both among local health advocates and people at the state and federal level, due to its potential addictive qualities and just a serious risk of drawing sort of like a psycho or hallucinogenic symptom.
So zooming out a little bit, Pablo, what other cities in California, how have they responded? Has anyone else regulated Kratom, and kind of what rules have they put in place if they have?
Yeah, the county specifically cited, San Diego, Newport Beach, and Oceanside as these local jurisdictions here in the state that have passed complete bans on the plant, the sale, the possession, and distribution of it. In San Francisco, there have even been raids on the use, as well as Sacramento and San Diego. So locally here in the state, it's sort of up to the local jurisdiction to do it. Like I said, there's no regulation on it at the state or federal level. And it looks like Fresno, both the city and county, want to kind of join those cities as well.
Now, as you mentioned, Kratom's not regulated at a statewide or national level. What's the conversation happening there? I mean, could that happen soon if other communities in California are responding like Fresno?
Yeah, at the federal level, the federal health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy, has announced earlier this year that he wants to restrict the use of the drug as well. So there definitely are plans underway. I mean, the DEA, or the Drug Enforcement Agency, has labeled the drug as a sort of plant of concern or a drug of concern, even though there is no restriction on it. So there's definitely movement at the federal level and even at the state level to try and pass regulations on it, but there's nothing in place yet.
Okay, and just getting back to what's happening locally, remind us, when will this ban in Fresno or the county go into effect, and just next steps on that vote?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest public hearing on it would be the one at the county level, which will be on December 9th or next Tuesday. That'll come up on the agenda. That will probably be the last opportunity people who want to support the drug or want to amend it in any way, shape, or form will have to voice their concerns to the board. That initial meeting had multiple amendments on that ordinance, so I would say the county has been very receptive to any concerns constituents have. So if people still have them, I would highly recommend showing up or leaving a phone call to your representative.
And will the city of Fresno be doing its own ban as well, or does the county cover that?
The city will have their own ban as well. They also passed their first vote during their last council meeting, and it looks like their next council meeting will also have the following vote.
Pablo Orihuela, reporter with our news partner, Fresnoland. Nice to have you back in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
And that is today's show. Today's episode was produced by Jonathan Linden and KVPR with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. You can find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
How does AI even work? Where does creativity come from? What's the secret to living longer? TED Radio Hour explores the biggest questions with some of the world's greatest thinkers. They will surprise, challenge, and even change you. Listen to NPR's TED Radio Hour wherever you get your podcasts.